Junko Furuta, born 18, 1971, a popular but gruesome case originally from Japan. Hello my sweethearts. I am starting a new series called Real Crime, where I talk about real crime cases from everywhere and no matter what year. You can request cases for me to do. And also all of my research was done on Wikipedia with the official information. Now we have that in mind. Get your snacks and drinks and get comfy and let's talk about the unfortunate and unforgettable case of Junko Furuta. Furuta grew up in Masato, Saimata Prefecture, where she grew up with her parents, younger and older brothers. She was a 17-year-old senior at Yashio Minami High School, even though she worked as a part-time job at a plastic molding factory from October 1988 to save up money. Earlier in her life, she was accepted a job to work at an electronic retailer, where she planned on working after graduation. Futura was well liked by her classmates and teachers, having high grades and infrequent absences. According to her friends, she wanted to be an idol singer, but oh boy. Coming up next in this case is mentions of murder and rape. Be aware. Her four murderers and rapists were Hiroshi Miyano, Joe Ogura, Shinji Minato and Yasushi Watanabe, who were labeled in their court documents A, B, C and D in respect for Futura. Others, Tetsuo Nakamura and Koichi Ihara, both 16, were labeled E and F. A, B and C began using D's family home in Adaki, Tokyo, as hangout. Beginning in October they engaged in crimes including theft, which can be purse snatching, and car theft, assault, and rape. On 8 November, the group abducted a 19-year-old woman in Adaki and gang raped her in a hotel there. On 27 December, during Furuta's captivity, the group abducted another 19-year-old woman in Adaki and gang raped her in a motel there. On the evening of November 25, 1988, B and C rode around Masato on their motorbikes with the intention of robbing and raping local women when they spotted Futura on her way home from her part-time. Acting on B's orders, C kicked Futura off of her bike and fled the scene. B, under the pretense of witnessing this of the attack by coincidence, approached Futura and offered to bring her home. After further gaining her trust, B walked Futura to a nearby warehouse and threatened her, telling her that he was a member of the Yakuza and wouldn't hurt her unless she followed his orders. That night, B took Furuta by taxi to a hotel in Adaki where he raped her. He later called B's house and bragged to D about the rape, after which D told him not to let Furuta leave. In the early morning hours of 26 November, B took Furuta to a park near the hotel, where D, C, and were waiting. They told her they knew where she lived, and that the Yakuza would kill her family if she attempted to escape. From here, it starts to escalate and it will start to get disgusting and graphic. So I recommend taking some time and pausing when I stop speaking to finish your food and drinks if you haven't. If you have finished, you can skip the empty part. C agreed to allow Furuta to be confined in a room on the second floor of his house in Adaki for the purpose of gang raping her. Furuta was held captive for 40 days. On 27 November, Furuta's parents contacted the police about her disappearance. To discourage further investigation, the kidnappers forced Furuta to call her mother 3 times to convince her that she had run away but was safe and staying with friends. When C's parents were present at the house where she was being confined, Furuta was forced to act as his girlfriend. The group dropped this pretense when it became clear that C's parents would not report them to the police. The parents later claimed that they did not intervene because they were afraid of their son, who had been increasingly violent toward them. On the night of 28th of November, the group gang raped Furuta, after which B shaved Furuta's pubic hairs with a razor and used a match to burn her genitals. In early December, Futura tried to run away, but they caught her. As punishment, the gang repeatedly punched her in the face and burned her ankles. They then forced her to dance to music naked, masturbate in front of them, stand on the balcony with little clothing at night, and inserted objects in her vagina and anus, including a metal rod and a bottle. They forced her to drink large amounts of alcohol, milk, and water, smoke 2 cigarettes at once, and inhale paint thinner fumes. In one attack in the middle of December, Furuta was beaten by the group, on the pretext that Miyano had stepped on a puddle of her urine, after which he burned her thighs and hands several times with lighter fluid. From around this time, Furuta, unable to bear the repeated assaults, would sometimes plead to be killed by her captors. Throughout the rest of December, the severity of Furuta's abuse continued to escalate. By the end of the month, she was severely malnourished after being fed only small amounts of food and eventually only milk. Due to her injuries, she became unable to walk to the downstairs toilet and was confined to the room's floor in a state of extreme weakness. Her appearance was disfigured by the beatings, with her face swollen to the point of unrecognizability, and her wounds had started to emit a foul odor. On January 4, 1989, after losing money in a game of Mahjong the night before, Miyano decided to take his anger out on Furuta. He ignited a candle and dripped hot wax on her face, placed 2 shortened candles on her eyelids, and forced her to drink her own urine. Furuta was lifted and kicked, fell onto a stereo unit, and began a fit of convulsions. To prevent them from being stained with blood, the group covered their hands in plastic bags before beating her with their fists and an iron exercise ball, and dropped the ball on her abdomen several times. Miyano poured lighter fluid on Furuta and set her on fire. She made weak attempts to put herself out, but soon stopped moving. The assault lasted for about 2 hours, after which Furuta died at a.m. Less than 24 hours after her death, Minato's brother called to tell him that Furuta appeared to be dead. Afraid that their crime would be discovered, the group wrapped Furuta's body in a blanket and placed it in a large travel bag, then put the bag in a metal drum and filled it with wet concrete. At around 8 p.m. on 5 January, the group drove to a vacant lot near a construction site on the island of Wakasu in KT, Tokyo, and dumped the drum there. Early 1989 B and O were arrested for their gang raping. Later in 29th March, the whole gang was arrested. And yet people still say 40 days trapped in heaven for whatever reason. Thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe, ding the notification button, and comment a dove emoji in respect for Junko Furuta. Bye my sweethearts.